All right, today we're going to install the Hitch itself, 2018 Ford Fusion. Well, let's get into it. U-Haul wanted 150 bucks to do it, so we're gonna do it ourselves. First thing you're gonna wanna do is along this line here, there's gonna be screws. You're gonna take those all out, and we're removing this piece here. Then on the back side, there's gonna be another row kind of up in here. You're gonna have to take those out as well. So these two rows to take this whole piece out. So screws on the front part here are gonna be 8mm, I believe. And then the plastic nut washer combos on the back side are gonna be 10mm, I believe. And there's these little plastic push pins. You don't have to do anything with those. Once you have just the plastic nuts and the screws off, you can drop that down. Watch your eyes. It's gonna be all the dirt and everything that's gonna be packed up in there. Okay, as far as what you should expect to find in the packaging, obviously the hitch, the 4 pieces of wire with the spring on the end for pulling the bolts through, and 4 bolts, nuts, and the brackets to hold the square part of the bolts through. As you can see, I don't have any fancy ramps. I'm just using crescent wrench, a couple other basic tools. So when you're taking things out of the package, you're gonna have your fish wires rolled up. What you're gonna do, what you can do ahead of time, is take your bolt, push it through that square bracket, and then take the kind of spring end of the fish wire and then thread it on your bolt. Go ahead, and you can set all these up ahead of time. Okay, now that I have all these prepped, 2 goes on each side of the frame rail under the car, and we can start fishing them through and getting them set up to raise the hitch. I'm gonna try and do this best I can with just my phone and trying to balance this. So under here, you're gonna use this hole and this hole. Okay, so probably gonna try and put a little hook on the end. You're gonna go in the back hole here on the side just to fish it through, because that's the only hole in the frame that you're going to fit it through. And then, oh, I have it there. You're gonna pull it through that hole. Okay, so I got those in. You're gonna have to go through this hole to push them in to start with, and then pull them through these 2 holes. What I did find is that little black bracket on there, you had to slide that off the bolt and push that in first, and then push the bolt in the hole. And then once you pull that wire through, you're gonna be able to find it. Make sure you twist the bolt and that bolt drops into that square bracket. And then leave these wires on for now. And then we'll just repeat this on the other side. Okay, we got the other side in now. One thing I will say is don't put a lot of pressure. You just have to kind of finesse it through here, and you don't have to pull a lot on these. You don't want to bend these wires or have these slip off, because you will need them here in a little bit intact. And when you are pushing these through and you already have one drop through, just watch your eyes, because when you're bumping this with your arm and everything, you can get caught in the eye with these wires hanging down, so just be careful. So next thing, in the far end holes on the hitch, you want to put the wires through those holes from the coordinating bolt that you drop through the frame rails on both sides. But make sure you hold the bolt once that wire is removed, and you don't let it slip up into the channel. So remove the wire, make sure you get a good hold on the bolt, and then slowly thread that nut on once the wire is removed, and then pulling down on the nut while you're screwing it on so that bolt sits in that black bracket. Okay, so once you get everything tightened, it tucks up in there really nice. You really can't even see the cross member of the hitch really, just the receiver part, which is the way it should be. And everything there. Now, one thing that I'm gonna do later, I didn't have any now and I didn't think about it till I was already into it, was there's no lock washers on there or included in the kit, which was really weird. So I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna get some Loctite and then take those nuts off one by one, put a bunch of Loctite on there and then tighten them back up. But as far as the hitch install, that's all there is to it. Next video, I will get into the wiring. Time-wise, didn't really take that long. Keep in mind, I obviously didn't have any special tools, ramps, never installed a hitch before, ever. And I did this in right about an hour from the time that I started taking everything out of the package until the time I tightened the last nut. Granted, I'll have to go back in there and put some Loctite on there, but if you do it the right way, unlike what I did, and put the Loctite on right away, you can probably get this done in an hour tops, even if you've never done it before.